Hello and welcome to the Patreon exclusive edition of Black, White, and Red All Over. I'm Victor Dandridge.
Brian Seymour.
And we're about to spoil Daredevil #1, Chip Sardosky. Yep. And I knew I was going to screw this up again.
Marco Cicchetto.
Thank you. I was like, Marco Cicchetto. Because it's such a fun name, too. I should definitely be able to just roll
it rolls off the tongue. Marco
Cicchetto. All right. So before we get into this, let's recap what has happened previously. This is a brand new #1, but obviously legacy issue 613. So 612 issues beforehand.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Like at the beginning, like the chemicals got his eyes.
Well, no, we don't go back that far. I think like Marvel Netflix kind of caught us up on that.
Yeah, we're up to speed there.
But right before this.
Yeah. So Murdoch was in a really, really bad accident. Almost died. Like went to the point that his heart actually stopped.
Whoa.
Which is a really cool sequence in that final issue of Daredevil before the reboot, where it was like and then page and then black, and then 5 pages later another spike. So he came back. But he is badly hurt.
Right.
His spirit is broken, and he's kind of at this crossroads where, like, he wants to do good. He wants to be Daredevil. He wants to protect Hell's Kitchen, but he's living in an environment now where he's still healing from this horrific accident that took his life for a short period of time, and in a city where Wilson Fisk
is now the mayor.
Yeah. So you got your worst enemy.
Yeah, that's the precursor.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you got to know before you go into this.
Yeah.
So we start up. This is how I knew this was gonna be a fun series.
Yeah.
The first page is Matt going into a bar, a crowded bar even, and there's a young lady who's having a drink by herself. Looks like an inviting situation of sorts, could be. And he kind of, does his thing and tries to talk to her a little bit. It's a nice icebreaker. And then he hits her with do you know what time it is? And she's like, hey, there's like a clock right in front of you. What are you? Oh, my bad. You are. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I try not to make people like regularly notice that I'm blind. And she's like, well, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And he's like, blind? I'm not dead. Like, what's wrong? Okay, sidebar. Who is the biggest player in the Marvel Universe? Because I low-key think it's Matt Murdoch. Some people would argue like, oh, Tony Stark, he's been around. I'm like, yeah but Matty is a smooth. He's a smooth one, man.
Because we tend to forget about the different women that have been part of his life. There's Elektra.
Yep.
There's Karen Page.
Yep.
And the Karen Page from the comics isn't.
I mean, she's a. Woohoo! God, that was terrible. Because whose bachelor party did they accidentally show her movie in?
Oh wow, wasn't the Hulk's?
I think it was. I think it was Bruce's bachelor party. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Bruce Banner's getting married. They have the bachelor party. They throw in a stag film, and Karen Page is the star.
Yeah.
How embarrassing! Luckily, Matt didn't see it.
That's true. He would, even with his radar vision,
he couldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
But he heard and was like, "Turn it off." Like, dude, can you imagine? Whoever bought that movie has got to go. Like it could have been Johnny Storm himself. You're out.
Johnny. You're no longer in the circle.
Yeah.
Shoo.
Okay, so what's great is here you see like the true charm and playfulness of Matt Murdoch.
Yeah.
He decides to pop a couple pills because he's still healing, right? And she's like, "Ooh, that looks like some medications. Can I get one?" And he's like, "That would be illegal."
Yeah.
And you're like, "There's Matty. There he is. He's hurting. He's in a place, but he's still mad."
Yeah.
And that's great. All right, so major flashback. This is, I was so proud of this moment. It's such a good one.
Yeah.
Right? We got Matt being drugged back to church by his dad, who was kind of furious with him. A little bit.
Yeah. He broke into somebody's house.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
that's wrong. Like, all the things that, Jack Murdoch, is like, hey, this is right, this is wrong. You stepped off into the wrong category, okay? Like, let's keep that 100. You broke in and entered into somebody's house, and that's not okay. So here's the rules, highly Catholic, household. You got to confess, and then you go home and you clean up.
Yep.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
I feel like Jack Murdoch is one of the best parents in comic book history. I would love to have. Okay, here we go. That's my play that I want to write someday. Pa Kent and Jack Murdoch are having a drink. Like somehow they know each other. They were in the war together.
Yeah.
Something dumb.
Yeah.
But they're having a drink, talking about their kids, and you slowly get the impression of how one becomes Superman and one becomes Daredevil.
Yeah, I could see that.
I would
That's
totally
pretty
watch
cool.
that play. Come on,
Pretty
somebody
sweet.
work with me on that one. Okay, so we get asked a very interesting question here.
The premise is Matt's friend, who's a little bit slow,
Right.
got ripped off by some other kid.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Like clearly took advantage of this guy.
Yeah. So Matt broke into that kid's house to get the baseball cards
Right.
that were involved in this trade back, and then give them to his friend that got ripped off.
Right.
Is Matt wrong? Like,
now, what I love though is the showcase of biblical text to make a valid point.
Yeah.
You know, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's. You know, the notion of, hey, here's this higher power. Tell us that this mundane event is, you know, under your jurisdiction, and therefore we should not or do this or whatever. And the higher power is like, hey, listen, there are times when the world dictates what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to it. Like, I am something beyond the world, but there are still rules of the world.
Yeah.
And you gotta abide by. I love this father though, because he broke it down.
Yeah.
The truth is, the problem that you did was you got caught.
Yeah.
You know, what you did was this great, you know, righting of a wrong, but because you got caught, that's ultimately what your problem is.
Yeah.
That's what you got to deal with. And then we go back.
Yeah.
Talk about getting caught. It's the morning after. Maddie is sitting up there. I don't know. Would you call it brooding? Commiserating? I don't know.
Because he and the young lady from the bar
Yes.
have clearly gone back to his apartment and engaged in things that adults
Yes, they do.
might do.
If they like each other. When two people are in love.
Yeah. Or just met at the bar.
Or that too.
Yeah.
It's a funny play because their character really kind of shows.
Yeah.
Like for both of them. We don't get her name, do we?
I don't
think
think
we
we do.
Do we? Go back. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
I don't think so. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, no.
No,
We don't.
we don't. Interesting play, Chip.
Yeah,
Interesting
because
play.
I feel like this characterization means she's going to be someone important.
Yeah,
I really appreciate her position here.
yeah,
You know, she's honest about the notion of why she was attracted to Matt. The vulnerability that she revealed about herself.
yeah.
is great.
Which is really cool because the way she's drawn, she's a beautiful woman.
Right.
And one of the reasons that she was attracted to Matt was Matt's blind.
Right.
He saw her for who she was, not who she looks
Right.
like.
What she looks like.
Yep.
It's a real thing. But even as she says, it's really cool. It's like, I don't have to worry if I'm pretty enough.
Yeah,
But I still am. You know, because you're talking to me. You're
Yeah.
interested. But you're literally interested in me and not physical attributes or anything
Yeah.
like that. I do love that she's like, you were hella muscular and
yeah,
that was sexy.
because he is ripped,
I mean,
as most of us Irish Catholic guys are.
hey,
Oh.
not that either. So. Dad bod city, let's go.
Chipotle. Chipotle.
Well, that sounds delicious. I might want to
It
get some. All right, so the plot thickens. We turn the page, and it is the aftermath of a crime scene, we'll call it, where a hood is being escorted out into I don't know, ambulance custody.
Yes.
He's been hurt.
He got daredeviled.
He definitely
badly.
did, very much so. Two officers have taken a statement, and while the hood said like, "Hey, I didn't see the guy, but I heard him," it's got to be Daredevil.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see him. Like that's how Daredevil moves.
Yeah.
Like you don't see the guy, but you can hear him.
Yeah.
And he beat me up. And one of the guys who's been on for a while.
Yep.
Is telling the others, "Hey, listen, don't put that down.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of headache. That's a lot of paperwork. you know good and well, like supers are not allowed. So the moment you say Daredevil did, that's gonna be a lot of headache that we don't want.
Yeah.
So let's just, hey, he couldn't identify.
Yeah.
He couldn't identify. I'm the lead guy here, so I'm telling you.
Yeah. Mayor Fisk is gun-ho on catching these heroes, and I'm here to tell you, you won't.
Yeah.
So like right from the start,
Boom.
we want to not get noticed by Fisk.
At all.
Yeah.
Like we want to under that radar. That's it. But then this car rolls up, very, very judicious.
Yes.
Right? And this guy steps out who I swear just on sight, Idris Elba was the voice in my head. Like straight up. Like I can't even pretend like it was anything else. Dude is like plain clothes, comes through and is like, who did this to you? Straight up asked the hood, like, what happened? And he's like, oh, Daredevil. Daredevil did it.
Yep.
Daredevil did it. Flat out. Dude walks up and is like, hey, listen, it doesn't look like you had Daredevil in your report here, because when I asked you, do we know, you said, oh, the guy didn't see him.
Yeah.
Technically true, but he also gave a name, and you just withheld that.
Yeah.
Now, he's talking to the rookie.
Yeah.
But he's like, but clearly you did this because that dude told you to.
And that dude decides he's going to take his hat off and give this dude is bigger than both of them. And the way he's drawn, there's like this air of authority. Like he just is an authority figure.
I love it.
And
I love it.
The dude starts chirping, and the Detective Cole, the new person on the scene, kind of like breaks down like, this is who I am.
Right.
This is where I've come from.
Right.
And I've got the book on you, and here's everything about you, you dirty, crooked piece of crap.
This is what's going down right here. So I love it. The dude's still swelling. I'll knock you out. You don't want none of this. I'm about to handle you. My man goes over to the EMS and goes, hey, can you call another ambulance? Because somebody about to need it.
Yeah. And I believe him. I believe him.
Dude back down. I mean,
he would have died.
Oh God, I think it's the movie Snatch, where Bullet Tooth Tony is sitting there chilling, having a drink, and the guys, pull their guns on him, and he has this whole like monologue about the fact that their guns are actually fake and his is real, and you just don't want it. That's what that is.
That is.
In comic book form. That's what that
Right
look is, right there.
Yeah.
That's just. I mean, because he even looks like I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh yeah, because he's like looking down on him
while looking up at the same. You know how hard you got. That's a pure Chicago look right there. That's where he's from, by the way. So yeah, so he comes in and he's like, "Look, here's the situation. This Daredevil thing happened, and at one point maybe Daredevil was a hero, but now this is something different.
Yeah.
Like he did this because he liked it. It's not about righting a wrong.
Yeah. The beating, like when they show on the sidewalk, that isn't a lot of blood.
A lot of blood.
So like, has Matt crossed that line? Like, is that what he's trying to get himself back?
Is he in that space?
Yeah.
I mean, dangerously so. We flash back, and this is post the accident.
Yes. Yep.
Post the accident, but pre Jack being murdered.
Yeah.
So Matt is in church at his father's behest, and again, poignance. The father is such a poignant person to fully understand what Matt might be going through. Yeah. And he flat out tells him, like, listen, it's okay that in this moment you're upset with God. That's a human thing, because you did something really, really good. You saved an old man.
And this is how you're repaid. You're blinded.
Yeah, like, but trust that God has a plan, and that maybe he's going to show you the world in a way you've never imagined.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that would make this like terrible is if this priest turns into Mephisto later on. Like that's the only way. Like
just plot
that's
twist.
the only. You're like, what? And he's like, yes, you want to be a devil, don't you? I know you do. I've been seeding this whole time.
I will break you and Karen Page up.
Seeing Matt again come back and really kind of look at where he is, and really kind of say, okay, I need to rethink myself, because I went out there, I didn't even go as Daredevil, which I think is a very important thing. Like the hood is saying, yo, this Daredevil beat me up. He wasn't in suit.
Yeah.
He was as Matt Murdoch, but was still sloppy.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready. Clearly that's why there was so much blood. I swear, this showcase of his vision.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I absolutely adore it.
That should be a poster.
Oh God,
Like the yeah,
I want that on my
it's just
wall.
an iconic.
I want that on my wall. I think every like new Daredevil artist deserves having like a poster moment like this in the first issue, because you gotta make Matt yours.
Yeah.
I wonder if like this is like the first page that he drew or the last.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this one in sequence. He's on the rooftops, and what I love is that, okay, so this is on the rooftops with a purpose.
Mhm.
The goal is to be seen.
Yeah.
He's blatantly letting New York know, Hell's Kitchen know, Daredevil is back.
He's back.
And he wants people talking about it. What a cool, defiant way to stick it to Wilson Fisk.
Oh yeah.
Because you're not gonna stop me.
Yeah.
I know you're Kingpin. You know I'm Daredevil. What? Say something. Do something. And then
It's like two dudes robbing a liquor store.
yeah.
Poor bastards.
Wait. Before we get to that part, the fact that he slips.
Yeah, that's true. Or, yeah, because he's jumping from rooftop to
Right.
rooftop, and he misses, and he refers to it as "I'm not at peak grace yet."
What a great line.
Yeah, the word grace is such a perfect line for Daredevil.
Yes. I wonder if Chip is Catholic at all.
I don't know. I wonder, because he really is weaving in that
The
part,
Catholicism so well.
yeah, which is such a huge component of the character, at least for me.
Right.
Because growing up Irish Catholic, it's like Daredevil's my dude.
Oh yeah.
Like he's my departed.
I'm not gonna lie. Like
So-
literally, my son Matty.
Mhm.
That's where the nickname comes from.
There
I
you
say
go.
that Daredevil is his patron superhero.
Yeah.
It's facts. So yeah, I love the notion of him really kind of checking himself on not quite being up to par, but still not giving up yet either. So yeah, two guys are in the liquor store. They've robbed the place, and the intent is to take a couple bottles of champagne to celebrate their victorious, robbery here. And they're on their way out, and then the devil shows up.
Yeah.
What's really cool is you really kind of get the impression right away that not Pete Grace is 100% right.
Yeah.
He doesn't knock the first guy out.
Yeah.
Well, like at all. The second guy.
Yeah. Someone gets a shot off.
Yeah,
Like
like
he doesn't even recognize there's a third person.
that's brutal. But again, okay, Daredevil Matt Murdoch is a lawyer.
Mhm.
Did he miss his calling as a detective?
I think he may have.
I think he may have too, man. Like I think again, that's another thing that I would have, like him and Batman on a case. Who solves it first and why?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that would be fantastic. He recognized that the third guy, the shooter, is possibly the inside man that got him in, because he's perfectly away from cameras, not to be associated with this crime at all. And then it really goes to hell for him.
He's missing punches. People are getting the drop on him. It's not looking good. It's looking like not Daredevil fighting people,
Right.
but just some other dude.
Some rando
Yeah.
who is not nearly on Daredevil's level.
Yeah.
It's 100% bad, like 100% bad. He's struggling. I mean, like literally floundering in his fight here.
And there's a panel where one dude's knocked up against the wall.
Yep,
And
that looks bad.
yeah, and in the wording in it, I need two level crooks and I'm floundering, embarrassing, which that panel I didn't fully appreciate for what it was until the end of this.
Yes. Because in this like wild fighting, like again, Daredevil's trained as a ninja. Like Stick trained him as well.
Yeah.
His tenacity for fighting is one of the top 10 in Marvel.
Yeah.
Like it is. And I love it. He says it like, look, I fought the Hawk, I fought Ultron.
Yeah.
I should not have struggled with these guys.
Yeah,
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Who am I right now?
Because he's hurting. Like he's
Completely.
leaning up against a car. He's got blood on his hands, like literally blood on his hands. He's holding his ribs. And now he's at risk because he knows Fisk has been like, cops, if you see a super,
Get him.
Get 'em.
Get him right now. There might even be a thing of, if you see Daredevil specifically, shoot to kill.
Yeah.
Like, get rid of that guy. And yeah, like he literally almost took an L completely.
Yeah.
3 rando, robbers of note. Like nobody knows these guys. It's not even like, oh, it's Tombstone and he's got like some goons with him.
No, it's just 3 dudes.
Chucky and 2 guys that he met at the bar almost beat him up. So, and he asked such a very poignant question: how much longer can I do this?
Right.
You know, in the light of all these things, how much more can I do?
How much you have left in the tank?
So, all right, are we calling this Man Without Fear era?
It's
based
got
on
that.
what he's wearing.
It's got that vibe to it, totally.
So we've got Matt in his black garb.
Yeah.
Again, confessing with the father, and he's asking about the notion of violence for good.
Yeah.
Man, I swear the references in this are so on point. Didn't Jesus drive out the money changers from the temple with a whip?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't violence sometimes justified? Can't I be the hands of God?
It's not a bad question.
At all. Not at all. The father has such a temperance in his response. You know, yes, Jesus did this, but he's also the Son of God.
Yeah.
You aren't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The mind controls the hands. Son, is it truly God controlling yours? So it's like, what place are you coming from in the use of this violence?
Yes.
Is it for you? Is it for good? Like, what's the actual
what's the
reason?
real? What's
Yeah.
at the core? Yeah. And that's, I mean, so important.
Yeah.
So very important. And of course, you know, Matt, you know, has this moment of really kind of looking at himself and saying,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I want this to be something
Yeah.
that it's not. And this, I definitely wonder if this is the moment where he
Yeah.
decides to be Daredevil.
Yeah.
You know, it's the religious push. It's the, okay, if I'm
Yeah.
not fully being, you know, the hand of God, maybe I am being the devil. He leaves behind his headgear for the father to find. And it's a very interesting sort of, I don't know, change. Like he's like, okay, well, this thing I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go be something else.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next page, we've got this one, kind of a montage, if you
A
will.
little bit, yeah, because it's panel in Fisk's office,
Right.
offset by a panel at the crime scene, and then crime scene, and it does a really good job of building up to that final panel, where Fisk's handler or helper is walking him through what his next day's stuff is going to be, meetings with the police, with other stuff, like very, very businessy.
Right.
And in between those panels, the officer who got transferred from Chicago, or the detective from Chicago, is piecing together that what happened at that completely botched robbery
Right.
Daredevil was a part of it.
Yep. And more so now because he left behind a baton.
Yeah. So there's clear evidence that he was involved, and this is where Fisk turns on the TV, and he's still listening to Wesley, which is his assistant, and on the TV, firefighters were quick to the scene, stopping the fire from spreading to surrounding buildings. Surveillance cameras captured 3 robbers in an altercation with a masked vigilante Daredevil who evaded capture. And then a little bit more, the person that hit their head against the wall is dead. Murdoch is now a murderer.
Like on every level, that is intriguing.
Yeah.
From his own Catholic guilt standpoint, looking at whether or not he's being this violent because he's got an issue that he needs to address.
Yeah.
So much good stuff is going to come out of this story.
Yeah.
I'm 100% on it.
Yeah.
And clearly, I mean, Matt is hurt. Like he's laying in bed, having made it home, stripped down as much as to his pants.
And those Egyptian cotton sheets are soaked
they're
with
ruined.
blood.
They are ruined. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal and bad, and I love it. But wait, there's more.
Yeah, because there's like this backup story that I was not expecting.
Oh.
And the way it's drawn and the subject matter is very dark, but it works so well.
So we've got Matt eavesdropping in on a potential kidnapper who has taken somebody of note. And what I love is it's a juxtaposition. So we've got a typically illustrated comic book page, but then we have one that is in Daredevil-esque vision.
Yeah.
Silhouetted over black. The coloring of it is so subtle.
Oh, yeah.
You could miss it. It's genius. Him using sound to be able to paint the picture of where he's at. We see like this kidnapper Matt addresses, finds the person that he's supposed to save. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I think Zardosky did all of it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Chip.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, just short little few page thing.
Yeah,
It's just
1, 2, 3, 4 pager. Who's to say you can't tell a great story in 4 pages?
Yep.
Clearly he did. All around, like I'm very much so interested in this series. Like I said, I do feel like it's a return to that Marvel Knights era, and I was a fan. Like, I was a huge fan. It definitely put me on to Daredevil. So obviously, anyone that's upset about the Marvel Netflix series being canceled,
pick this up.
Here's your answer. I mean, they've pulled so many things because like Wesley does not seem to be the owl.
Yeah.
But that's the version of Wesley that it was from the show.
Yeah.
That dude's name would have been the owl. Yeah. So there you go. Oh no, that was Leland. That was from the first season. Wesley was just his helper. I'm sorry, I said that wrong.
Sorry, Wes.
Check it out. That's good stuff. Yeah. As always, thank you guys for being our Patreon members. We appreciate you more than you know. You guys are phenomenal, and you guys help us keep doing this. So we really appreciate it. Love your faces.
Mm-hmm. Daredevil would too, but he can't see.
But he'd still kiss it. All in your mouth.
Tom Brady.
Oh, there was a lot of Tom Brady man kisses, wasn't there?